The other big sort of move for a German or an English player coming back to England, but from Germany, is of course Jadon Sancho. And this story feels like a soap opera. There are different, I feel that, and I want to say this with respect to the British press, that the story and the information that's come from yourself and people like Fabrizio, for me, has been very consistent amongst yourselves on the continent. You have this opposite approach in the UK that there's been no bid, or a couple of days ago that we've reported that Dortmund have now given the green light for the deal, but we've got to agree personal terms. What's your personal understanding of the current state of affairs with Jadon Sancho?
Well, the thing is with Jadon Sancho, I mean, what English fans need to understand is that, or Manchester United fans got to understand, that this is their Greenwood. So imagine that Manchester United would sell Greenwood. They would try everything they would do to keep him. They said, okay, in the summer, they said that 6 months ago, and they said, and the price would be 120 million euro. And then Dortmund, the end of the season, it was a funny season with all the Corona thing, and they're losing money. But still, they said, we want to challenge Bayern Munich for the title, because we always lost our best players. Aubameyang, we lost Mkhitaryan, we lost Dembele and Lewandowski and Götze, but he's coming back. But still, that is the culture of that club. So they said, well, fair enough, we'll give people a chance. And Jadon, I guess they have had a good dialogue with Jadon all along, which they didn't have with the agent of Aubameyang and Dembele. So they said, when we go to Switzerland the 10th of August, I mean, those are the players who are going to bring us into the season. The thing is that, and I guess that's a kind of the position I've got in this, is that I know the English culture, I know the German culture. And when Sork is saying this is our deadline, in Germany they say he's strong. This is being the head of sport at Dortmund. In England, they would say it's just a part of the poker game. I think that, first of all, you need to respect Dortmund. Maybe, and I have no idea, because I'm not sitting at the table, if there is any table, and who is on the table, that is another discussion.
Yeah.
But so I can say Jadon will do this or that, because that is a matter of money, maybe, and principles sometimes are there to be broken. But the thing is that people have to understand, Dortmund want him to stay. This is not a poker game for them. I'm not saying maybe they will lose him. I don't know. I have no idea if they come up with an enormous amount of money. But Dortmund want the player to stay. This is not a poker game for them. They are planning with him 100%. And people say, well, they lost Aubameyang, they lost Dembele, but that's the reason why they want to keep him. Because Dortmund, if they're going to take the next step, sometimes they will have to have to keep their players. And if we think that, I think that a part of an analysis of any transfer, we have to try to set ourselves in the mindset of the people selling and the people who are buying. And the mindset of Dortmund is that after this Corona, there is only one club now after Jadon Sancho. And maybe Manchester United, right, he's not worth the same now after Corona. So next summer, there is a big chance that other clubs will be on the market as well. And I think that for every selling club, that is an advantage. But it needs to be clear, Dortmund wanting to stay. This is not a poker game.
I understand. Do you know what? I think for me, again, I don't watch European football, and I don't have any real knowledge in the same way you do. You played there, you worked in the media in Germany, so you understand it. I think the perception here in England is Dortmund, it's certainly been mine, Dortmund are a selling club. If you offer the right amount of money, they don't look to build a team. You sort of look at the examples of Hummels and Lewandowski. A lot of players have left when... I look at Dortmund over the last 10 years. If they could have kept the majority of their players, I think they'd have won 2 or 3 Champions Leagues. The talent they had has been impeccable. So I suppose that there's this notion of, well, they'll cave at some point. But do you still think there's a possibility... Sorry, go on.
I tell you, maybe they would. And I think that is a good analysis. And I think... But we have to see the other way around, because that's one of the reasons they want to keep Sancho at the moment. And yeah, 100%, you're saying that, and you see that they get young players in. They got Haaland in front of the nose of Manchester United, and so they want to keep their best players. They don't want to be a selling club. Even internally in Germany, they are criticized. The last one was the president of honor and the Don Corleone of German sport. Uli Hoeneß, who said this is the big difference between Dortmund and Bayern Munich, because if we get a player, we want to keep him at Bayern Munich, and Dortmund get him to sell him on. So this image is right, and it's right analysis from English journalists or Manchester United or other clubs. They think that if we do that right, we'll get the players. The thing is, in this case, Dortmund has been very open. Just pay us 120 million euro and you have your player. And that's the same if I want to live in London. There is a big apartment. It's cost me 100 million euro. I know that apartment will be mine if I pay 100 million euro. So Dortmund has been very open. And maybe they caved. Maybe there was a lot of things that could happen. But I think it's very important to understand that they want to keep him. And then we'll see.
Yeah, it certainly feels that the way that Jadon is going about this, it appears to be very respectful to Dortmund. I think a team that's essentially given him his opportunity as a professional football player to do what he's doing in life. There doesn't seem to be this kind of, we saw it with Raheem Sterling, we saw it with Van Dijk from Southampton to Liverpool. Of course, we saw it with Dembele, you mentioned, where there was certainly poor behaviours from a professional standpoint to force these moves through. And there's an element of me as a Man United fan personally, I quite like that. It's a bit like when Griezmann was looking to leave Atletico, and then they had their ban of transfers, and he pulled himself out of the window and said, actually, I'm not going to leave now. It's not the right time to leave the club. I really like that kind of behaviour. You don't see that type of loyalty too often anymore in the game. So I think there's an element of niceness there. The other big move.
But it's a very good point, because I think, and that's the one other thing that Dortmund now want to avoid, because that is not good. That is not good for their brand. It's not good for the other players, because they just feel that they will lose to the best players. And the reports from Dortmund, he's in a fantastic mood. He is great in training. He came on in the game against Austria Vienna. He was brilliant going on. The coach, who is a type of coach that will always kind of look for things to improve, and he will always say, Sancho will be better if he did this and that. But I think that the dialogue between Dortmund and the player has been excellent, and his camp as well. Yeah. And then they will of course hope, and I think, but then if you take the back to England, that they will say that the player would have liked to come back to England, but it may happen, but I can't see it happen. But it may happen that the players will demand it, but there is no signal at the moment that he will make a transfer request. There is no signal that he will go to strike, as other players have done.
Yes, it certainly feels the case to me. If Man United make an adequate bid, make the bid that's being demanded, get it from a United. Like, we want him. We've seen how great a player he is. It
would be fantastic for Manchester United. I mean, that is a player. I've always said that one of the reasons I was so thrilled about, I played against this fantastic team of Manchester United in the 90s with Cantona, with the class of 92, and two big boys at the back. There were Pallister and Bruce and Schmeichel in goal. And that was a team that excited me. And I think that it's very, very right of Ole Gunnar to kind of say that this is the player I want. Because first of all, you get a player that give you a lot of assists and goals, but there's always a player that excites you. And I think that the theatre of dreams, and with the Manchester United, the players you guys are used to have that. I mean, a part of being a Manchester United fans, going back from the 50s, and I love my football history, is that the players you always had that excite you. And I guess this team that, in all due respect, got the Champions League position, which was good, but still a ocean up to the big two. And I think that Manchester United always was a team that had players that excite you. And I think that Jadon Sancho, that he's targeted, and a young Englishman who's done it in Germany, is a right target. But it seems that this season is going to be hard to get him.